What if your greatest block is not lack of effort, but effort itself? You've been told that hustle creates results, that the harder you push, the closer you get. But what if, in the language of the quantum field, pushing is not progress, it is resistance? What if every ounce of forcing is the very thing holding your reality at bay? Think about it. You meditate, visualize, repeat affirmations, chase alignment with endless rituals. And still, the shift slips like water through your hands. So you push harder, more effort, more action, more urgency. But have you noticed? The more frantic the doing, the quieter the becoming. The river does not flow faster because you thrash against it. It flows when you stop resisting. This is the paradox the mystics have always whispered. Neville Goddard said, "Stop trying to make it happen, and let it happen." Rumi declared, "What you seek is seeking you." Both were pointing to the same truth. The universe does not respond to your struggle. It responds to your state. The field mirrors your signal, not your checklist. And your signal is clearest not in effort, but in ease. Imagine trying to force a seed to sprout by pulling on its stem. The very act kills the life within it. Desire works the same way. It is God's seed planted in you, coded to unfold. But when you try to drag it into being through pressure, you suffocate the soil that was meant to nourish it. Surrender is not passivity. It is trust in the intelligence that already knows how to bloom. So let's leave this question open until the very end. If less creates more, why does forcing push it away? The answer will not come in a single sentence. It will unfold as we journey together. By the close of this video, you will see why surrender is not weakness, but the greatest strength you can hold. And when the loop completes, you will never look at effort or desire the same way again. Most of us were raised inside a paradigm that worships effort. School taught us, study harder, get the grade. Work taught us, grind longer, earn the promotion. Culture whispers, if you are not exhausted, you are not worthy. The equation is clear, more struggle, more success. But here's the fracture. In the quantum field, this formula breaks. Because over-effort is not proof of alignment, it is evidence of resistance. Picture someone trying to swim upstream with all their might. Muscles burning, lungs straining, but the river still carries them backward. This is what happens when you force reality. Your struggle becomes noise. The current of life does not obey pressure, it obeys resonance. The river is designed to carry you forward, but the more you fight it, the further you drift from the flow that was always ready to hold you. Science confirms what mystics intuited. Heart math studies show that coherence, the harmony between mind, body, and emotion, creates efficiency. Energy becomes magnetic, outcomes accelerate. But when you grind in misalignment, the body floods with cortisol, the heart rhythm destabilizes, the signal fractures. You are broadcasting stress into the field, and the field, precise as a mirror, reflects stress back. Here lies the paradox. Effort feels like control, but often it is the opposite. Over-effort is the nervous system screaming, "I don't trust." It's an unconscious admission that the universe won't move unless you drag it. Yet the law has always said otherwise. Creation responds to assumption, not compulsion. Neville warned, "You cannot persist in wanting. You must persist in being." And being cannot grow where force is choking the soil. Pause for a moment. Where in your life have you been pushing, straining, overdoing, believing more will finally be enough? What if the very pressure you apply is the wall you keep running into? The first quantum shift begins here, realizing that forcing is not power, it is static. And until the static softens, the signal cannot sing. This is the trap of over-effort, an illusion of control that keeps you circling the same outcome. The quantum field does not read your checklist. It doesn't respond to the hours logged, the rituals repeated, the affirmations shouted until your throat is raw. What it responds to is coherence, the invisible frequency behind the action. Effort without alignment is static. Aligned energy, even with less doing, is a clean signal. Think of a radio dial. Twist it too fast, obsessively tuning, and you only produce noise. But when the dial locks onto the right frequency, the song flows effortlessly, crisp and whole. Your life works the same way. Forcing is the frantic twisting. Alignment is the steady hand that finds the station. The field doesn't care how hard you twist, only whether you're tuned. Let's ground this further. Imagine someone journaling every day about abundance but feeling panic in their chest the whole time. The journal is effort, but the panic is the actual signal. And the field, precise and neutral, mirrors the panic back. Delays, scarcity, resistance. The action isn't wrong, but the energy beneath it decides its impact. Neville captured this paradox in simple words. Stop trying to make it happen. Let it happen. Effort alone says to the universe, I don't believe. But relaxed energy says, it's already mine. This is why aligned presence, even with fewer actions, produces infinitely more than 1,000 frantic movements. The field mirrors being, not doing. So ask yourself, are you broadcasting urgency or coherence? Are your steps a reflection of faith or fear? Every time you overdo, overplan, overthink, you're telling the quantum, I'm not ready yet. But when you act from alignment, one clear thought, one relaxed decision, one truthful step, the field hears clarity, and clarity is irresistible. Stories are where abstract truths touch the ground of real life. So let me tell you about Lila, a woman who tried everything to manifest her breakthrough. Every morning she journaled, she meditated, she visualized. She did affirmations until her voice cracked, rituals until her patience wore thin. Yet the loop of lack never broke. The more she pushed, the tighter life seemed to resist. One morning, in exhaustion, she stopped. She closed her journal, skipped the affirmations, and simply sat. No performance, no checklist, just breath, silence, and a few tears. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't reaching into the future. She was present. She wasn't forcing reality to bend. She was allowing herself to rest in what already was. And in that stillness, something shifted. The next day, an email arrived, a job offer, not one she had chased, but one that flowed in naturally, like a tide that had been waiting all along. Was it coincidence? No. It was coherence. The moment she stopped broadcasting desperation, her signal cleared. The field mirrored that clarity back in opportunity, and reality reshaped itself around her presence. Here's the paradox. Doing less unlocked more, because her energy finally aligned with truth. Lila didn't conjure magic out of thin air. She stopped jamming the frequency with noise. She discovered what Neville always insisted. Assumption, not effort, creates reality. When you stop proving, you start receiving. And this is not just her story. It's yours. How many times have you overdone, overplanned, overhustled, only to end up exhausted and unchanged? Lila's shift reveals the secret. The universe isn't testing how hard you can work. It's asking if you can relax into alignment. Her surrender was not giving up. It was tuning in. And when she tuned in, reality could finally answer. Physics has a strange truth to tell us. Matter does not sit in a fixed state waiting to be found. It exists in waves of probability until an observer looks. In that gaze, the wave collapses into a particle, into form. This is called the observer effect. But beneath the equations lies a mystical mirror. Consciousness itself is what gives reality its shape. Now imagine what happens if that gaze is trembling with fear, urgency, or doubt. A camera shaking cannot capture a sharp picture. Likewise, an anxious consciousness cannot collapse clarity. The field will always give you coherence, even if that coherence is chaos. The picture it prints is simply the one you insist on holding, whether through faith or through fear. Neville translated this science into spirit. Stop trying to make it happen and let it happen. He knew the field responds not to the volume of effort, but to the quality of vibration. To force is to spray static into the signal. To assume with feeling is to beam a steady light. One collapses fragments, the other collapses destiny. Here is where the divine enters. If God plants the desire in you, He also gazes with you. Your active observation is not solitary, it is collaboration. The Creator looks through your eyes. So when you choose coherence, you are not just adjusting a mindset. You are aligning with the very intelligence that spoke the universe into being. This is why surrender works. The observer effect is not passive, it is partnership. You are saying to God, I trust your gaze through mine. And in that trust, the probability wave yields. The unseen takes on form. The formless steps into matter. The quantum field listens not to frantic trying, but to calm recognition. And in that recognition, the world bends. The world has taught you that the future is where results live. Hustle now, reap later. But in quantum reality, the only entry point to possibility is not tomorrow. It is now. The field does not respond to plans or projections. It mirrors the frequency you radiate in this exact breath. The now is not small. It is the only birthplace of reality. Think of it as a cosmic portal. Every moment offers a door, but most walk past it because they are staring at the horizon. They obsess about what could go wrong in 6 months, or what went wrong 6 years ago. But the field doesn't see your calendar. It sees your coherence, and coherence is only ever measured in the present tense. Science echoes this. Research from HeartMath shows that when the heart's rhythm enters coherence, the brain locks into harmony with it. Clarity sharpens, intuition awakens, and the body relaxes into safety. This is more than biology. It is spirituality quantified. When your heart and mind are aligned here and now, the signal is clear enough to bend timelines. Neville insisted on this same truth in his own words. Feeling is the secret. Feeling cannot be stored for later. It must be lived now. When you saturate the present with the vibration of the wish fulfilled, you collapse the probability that matches it. Delay dissolves not because you did more, but because you finally embodied what God already intended for you in this moment. So ask yourself, what are you broadcasting right now? Urgency, fear, lack, or trust, calm, and resonance? The quantum field is neutral, but it is precise. If you wish to shift, stop negotiating with the future and anchor into the present. Breathe into your body. Regulate your nervous system. Choose alignment here. For it is only here that creation listens and answers back. Most people believe manifestation is about thinking harder, longer, louder. They repeat affirmations until their throat aches, script pages until their wrist burns, and still the shift doesn't come. Why? Because the quantum field doesn't measure effort by volume. It measures clarity by frequency. 1,000 scattered thoughts cannot equal the impact of a single coherent one. Picture a beam of light. When scattered, it glows faintly, diffused, unable to cut through anything. But when concentrated, it becomes a laser, precise, powerful, transformative. So it is with thought. More is not better. Cleaner is better. The field is not responding to your mental chatter, but to the harmonic resonance behind it. Neville captured this perfectly when he said, "Assumption creates reality." He did not say repetition creates reality. He did not say struggle creates reality. He said assumption. The quiet inner knowing that bypasses doubt and enters state. To assume is not to hammer the mind into compliance. It is to rest in the truth until the truth feels natural. This is why forcing positive thoughts often backfires. You can say, "I am abundant" 10,000 times, But if your stomach clenches and your body whispers unsafe, the field reads the clench, not the words. God does not answer begging. He answers being. When your state is aligned, the right thought rises effortlessly, like a clear note from a tuned instrument. So pause. What thoughts are you fueling right now? Are they static or are they signal? Don't force yourself to think more. Train yourself to think true. Let the thoughts born of coherence guide you, for they carry the unmistakable fragrance of divine origin. One coherent thought, aligned with God's whisper, can bend reality faster than a lifetime of mental noise. Not every desire is created equal. Some are echoes of comparison, born from the highlight reels of others. They flash, burn, and vanish, leaving you restless. These are ego desires, compensations for wounds, attempts to fill voids with glitter. But beneath them, if you listen closely, there are deeper desires. Quiet, steady, almost shy. These are the authentic ones. They do not come to dazzle. They come to guide. How do you know the difference? Ego desire screams urgency. Now, or I'll disappear. Authentic desire hums with inevitability. I was always yours. One burns like firewood, quick and smoky. The other glows like coal, steady and enduring. The ego demands you chase. The soul invites you to become. Think of desire like a radio frequency. The ego twists the dial constantly, searching for louder noise. But the authentic signal is already broadcasting. You only need to stop twisting and let the frequency lock in. Most people abandon the channel just before it comes through clearly. They chase the next thing, never realizing the music was already playing. Neville said, "You would not have a desire unless it already existed within you." This is the mark of authenticity. If the desire lingers, if it whispers through your seasons, if it waits even when ignored, it is God's seed, not planted to tease you, but to evolve you. Authentic desires are not tasks to accomplish. They are blueprints of who you are becoming. So pause and ask, does this desire bring contraction or expansion? Does it leave you restless? Or does it ground you with quiet certainty? The authentic ones make you exhale. They carry peace even in waiting. They feel like home before you arrive. And when you align with them, you are not chasing. You are resonating with the very frequency God designed for you. Even the clearest desire, the most radiant vision, cannot take root if your body does not feel safe to hold it. The nervous system is the unseen gatekeeper of manifestation. You may repeat affirmations, visualize endlessly, even believe in your mind that it is possible. But if your body is bracing, locked in survival, the signal is scrambled. The field hears urgency, not readiness. Think of the nervous system as the bridge between your inner temple and the quantum field. When it is regulated, the bridge is open, clear, and light flows both ways. When it is dysregulated, the bridge trembles, and even if the current wants to reach you, it cannot pass. This is why people hustle, push, and try everything, yet remain stuck. Their body whispers unsafe, and the universe echoes it back. Imagine trying to pour new wine into a cracked vessel. No matter how fine the wine, the vessel cannot hold it. The body must be rewoven to receive. This is not weakness, it is divine design. God does not place desires in you only to see them shatter you. He shapes you, softens you, calms your nervous system, so that when the gift arrives, it can stay. Neville often said that feeling is the secret. Feeling is not just imagination, it is embodiment. To feel safe, expanded, and worthy is to give the field a clear, coherent signal. Safety itself is a spiritual frequency. When you relax, you are declaring faith. I trust God enough to release control. And that faith is the language the universe responds to. Here is the practice. Breathe deeply and whisper, "My body is safe in my next timeline." Let the words sink beyond your mind into your chest, your belly, your bones. This is more than affirmation. It is permission. Permission for your cells to rest in abundance, for your heart to trust love, for your nervous system to regulate into peace. Less forcing, more safety. And suddenly, what felt impossible begins flowing in effortlessly. We began with a paradox. If less creates more, why does forcing push it away? By now, the answer should be clear. Forcing is resistance disguised as effort. It is noise in the channel. The field does not mirror your words or your rituals. It mirrors your state. And when your state is frantic, the field delivers more of the same. Surrender is not giving up on the dream. It is giving up on the illusion that you must control every step. It is trust in the intelligence that planted the desire in you in the first place. God does not tease his children with impossible longings. Every authentic desire is both a promise and a path, a seed already waiting for the right soil. Think of what you've seen: the trap of over-effort, the story of Lila's surrender, the observer effect, the coherence of the now, the nervous system as gatekeeper. Each revealed the same truth. Alignment, not struggle, collapses timelines. Coherence, not chaos, draws reality toward you. Feeling, not forcing, is the secret. And so, when you finally stop pushing, something greater begins to move. The space you feared would be empty is filled with synchronicity. The silence you thought was absence becomes a song. Less effort becomes more power, because power in the quantum is not force. It is frequency. So breathe. Trust. Step into surrender as the highest form of faith. What you desire has never been running away. It has been waiting for you to stop chasing. And when you do, you will feel it. Not as a distant hope, but as a present reality leaning toward you, ready to be received. If this message resonated, let it not be the last. Subscribe to Infinity Echoes, activate the bell, and return here often. Because every time you choose alignment over anxiety, you don't just shift your life, you shift the field itself.